Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another day of five-star show jumping action. We pretty exceptionally have got 4 days of five-star action for you here at Angelstone Tournaments, just outside of Toronto in Ontario in Canada. This was actually the first time last year when this event was held. It was the first time that five-star show jumping had ever taken place in Ontario, so quite an iconic venue now it's becoming. We're bringing you a speed class first off this evening. This one is for $73,400, and we've got a lot of good individual combinations coming forward here before the feature team class later on. Deb Placey's alongside me, and this one should be a pretty quick class.
Absolutely. So glad to be with you, Hannah. We have blue skies with a mix of clouds, and then we'll be under the lights as the sun will probably dip down around 8 o'clock Eastern time. But we still have plenty of daylight here for this speed class. Nicolette Hirt is already in the ring. She'll be the first of, we expect, 15 to go. She's in on Florette. She was, this 24-year-old American rider was thrilled with her finish last night. She was on Oak Grove's Desperado and clear in his first ever five-star Grand Prix, so she comes in with plenty of confidence in this speed class.
Yeah, and Florette is, as you say, the horse she's riding here. It's a 13-year-old, and it's one that Nicolette rode quite a few times, 4 times in fact, for the Blazing Sevens team on that Major League Show Jumping team competition last year. We've got quite an interesting course actually here. She's just tackled fence 3, comes down now to fence 7, the Calladay upright. But we've got a good few interesting turns. The triple combination takes them across the center of the arena along the diagonal. This is quite an interesting point here because they've got the triple bar then to the plank, and it's quite a tight turn in this corner. Just turns in front of our commentary box to then quite a sharp turn back to this double at 8, and there's quite a lot for them to look at all the way around this course.
And it seems like it would be a very awkward turn, but it did not look awkward when she rode it just now.
No, Nicolette really making use of the corner, really getting into the corner to make sure that she sets the horse up well, gives him enough time to understand the question being asked.
So these are meter 45 up to meter 50 jumps. The time allowed has been set at 73 seconds to start, and she's well under the time. So we'll see if that sticks. 66.5 is her time on Florette. I love those psychedelic jumps in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great eye-catching jumps in here. These Major League Show Jumping wings as well on the triple combination at 5, also pretty eye-catching. I think they'll look great under the lights later on this evening.
So the next rider in is our second of 15 to go. This is Serena Marin on Sebastian, a 15-year-old C'est Francais. Serena spent some time this summer showing in Europe, showed in France, showed in Italy, and this is a step up for her to be doing these five-star classes.
Yeah, the horse is relatively experienced. This is a 15-year-old, and as you say, she's been jumping herself in Europe, been jumping this horse particularly up to 3-star Grand Prix. She's jumped 4 clears with this so far this year, including a double clear in a 2-phase 3-star competition at Wellington in April. A good few strong performances for them. She's just really taken quite a lot of time to study for that upright, but I mean, it certainly paid off. She obviously felt the horse needed a bit more balancing, and coming into the triple, you can see that's evident as well. Just takes out the front rail. Seems to be a horse that needs a little bit of a deeper shot to get the height over some of these fences. Quite a few rattles of the front rails actually. And there again, fence 10 goes down. Just gets a bit flat and doesn't quite pick up the hind legs quickly enough.
So up and over the Liverpool and the final jump, 16 faults and 68.58 for Serena. So a couple of riders have gone. And a 16 fault finish for Serena.
I think, you know, in a couple of places she rode that horse very cleverly, getting the deeper shots to really encourage the height, but it's not really something that you can do at every fence. And it's just getting a little bit flat, particularly towards the end of the course.
So Tanner Korotkin is in next, just 21 years old. He's on Ideal, a horse that Shane Sweetnam got as a 7-year-old and has now passed the reins onto Tanner, a 10-year-old Swedish import.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ideal's been a great partner for Tanner already. He says that he quite likes these quicker, slightly hotter horses, and Ideal is one of those. They had a 5th place in a 2-star Grand Prix at Traverse City in July. Also won a 3-star Grand Prix at Traverse City in September of last year. So plenty of good performances from them. And Tanner, you know, as you say, he's a young rider, but he's actually very experienced now and rides extremely well, uses his body fantastically through that triple combination just to make sure the horse stayed in balance. Oh, this is a tighter line, but it is a speed class.
Yeah, he had a great track too. 8AB.
Definitely the tightest line we've seen there. He's really the first rider, I think, that we've seen ride this like a speed class compared to some of the other competitors.
And you can see on your screen the rain coming down. It is bright and sunny and raining, which you don't see often. There are some great clouds above, and there is a rail for Tanner Korotkin. How fast, though? 59.83 was the time, and he does just get the 1 rail, so that's a shame as it comes down over the Kubota. And a 2nd rail coming down as well, so he finishes on 8 faults at 59.83.
I think he just clipped the last there, but such a light rub, it was hard to see actually. And as you say, especially with the rains suddenly starting, we've got a bit of a tale of two halves in the sky that we can see from our commentary box. We've got blue sky on one side and quite a rain cloud on the other.
And honestly, as quickly as it started raining, I think it has stopped. So I don't know if the weather knows what it wants to do, as we welcome in Alberto Michan with a longtime partner Bugatti, a 16-year-old Dutch warm blood in this speed class.
Another quite experienced horse here. This is a 16-year-old mare, and it's by Heartbreaker. This is a horse that Alberto rode on the Major League Team competition at Traverse City. Quite a consistent ride for him. One that, you know, he really aims for the top competitions. He's not on the list for the teams here this evening, but he'll certainly have his eye on a spot in that 5-star Grand Prix tomorrow.
Wow. That was quick down the line. And all the way across, a clear round, 60.79, pretty quick for Alberto Michan, and he goes right to the top. It's the new time to beat. Alberto Michan and Bugatti.
Really nicely done.
A lot of pats for Bugatti. So just one trip around. There is no jump off. It's a straight speed class, and we do have some unique rules with this competition this weekend, and we're going to try to make it as super easy for you all to understand as we can. And it's a Table C later, which is faults converted. We'll explain it all to you, how the team competition works, because really once you get the hang of it, it adds so much excitement to the way they run it.
Yeah, it really does. You know, it's quite straightforward. You know, faults and time in the first round, and then basically what they're doing is discounting their scores from each round. Just that what they're trying to do is get into the next rounds, 3 rounds, but no rider will jump more than twice. And it's certainly a format that has you absolutely on the edge of your seat. And as these stands and the VIP areas and the seating areas all start to pack out, I'm sure the crowd will be really getting behind the riders.
So this is Grant Seger and Cantuccini, owned by Gray Fox Crossing. This is an 11-year-old. Grant was clear in the 2-star qualifier today, as he has a little bit of trouble in that triple combination. So he'll have to take a moment to regroup.
I think he almost didn't quite have the impulsion there going through the triple combination, because the horse just really struggles to get up over the B element, and then of course that made the C element nigh on impossible. He's going to have to retake the whole combination. This is this horse's first 5-star show.
And he's going to give this horse a nice long lead up to the triple combination, going all the way around
I think
the outside and jump a different jump and not have him go through the triple again.
The horse is 11, so not the oldest, but certainly not the youngest either. But really, just to give the horse a good experience in this ring is so extremely important. As I say, it's the horse's first show up to 5-star level, so you don't want to be having any bad experiences. You want to really build on this weekend.
So Chandler Meadows is in next, a 27-year-old, originally from Newport Beach, California. She's on Zamia 3. This is a pretty experienced horse, a 15-year-old mare.
Good few quite experienced horses in this competition so far. Zamia 3 is one that Chandler's had since 2020. And it was formerly with a New Zealand rider, Daniel Meach. They jumped in the 2-star Grand Prix at Traverse City earlier this month to a 12th place finish, but that doesn't quite reflect the fact that actually they did jump clear. They just picked up 1 time penalty, so it was actually a really good performance.
Looking at some of the strides, she did 6 between 2 and 3, and then coming back around to her left and down the side of the long VIP tent.
I think these distances are fairly set with it being a speed class, so but she gets that quite nicely. Here, this related distance, it's it's not much past a combination. Just 4 strides between the triple bar and the plank. Chandler's actually ridden on the team competition previously as well.
Oh. Oops. Just a little bit of a misjudged distance there, and as we have seen the last couple of days, I think the horses like this ring. If they do get loose, they seem to want to run a little bit, but his rein is loose, so that's a little dangerous. And she is up and fine, and we'll just make sure they get Zamia before she trips on that.
Yeah, but unfortunate the rein just coming down over Zamia's head. That often happens. It's good to do with, as you say, getting the horse to a standstill. Nice flying change, though, as the horse is cantering round.
They got her. Well done. Okay, so the mare is all settled, and Chandler is just fine.
Yeah, really good to see them both up on their feet and looking fine. It was just, as you say, a little bit of a misjudged stride going down that penultimate line, which is a shame.
So now our 7th rider in a class we expect to be of 15 in this speed class. There's a lot of money at stake. This is a $73,000 class. In some ways, it's the warm-up for the big team competition tonight, which is worth well over $200,000. But this is Vanessa Hood contesting for some prize money, and she's back in on Castelleretto.
Vanessa riding on Team Logano at the Traverse City leg of the team competition. She's a great member of that team, jumping well for them. Castelleretto, the ride that she has here. They are just under 40% in terms of their clear round rate as a pair this year. She jumped Castelleretto in both legs, actually, for the team, for Team Logano, for 1 down in Vancouver, and then a couple down in Traverse City. This is a horse that was previously ridden by Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann as well. Lovely athletic little horse. you know, Vanessa sets up for these fences so well. As soon as she'd landed over the plank, she was already preparing the turn and the approach to that double.
It is a clear round, just making sure she left all the rails up, and she did. Right into second place, 64.06 is her time. So not as fast as Alberto Michan, but really well done. And our third clear of the night, but right into second place.
Lovely round, and she really was keeping the rhythm all the way round, just keeping that quite regular pace up. And as you say, takes that second spot. Nearly 4 seconds behind Alberto Michan, but certainly a round to really be encouraged by.
Hyde Moffatt, a Canadian rider who has a bit of a cheering section here, is in next. The 8th of 15 that are expected to go in this speed class. And Hyde is on an entry of Ariel Grange. This is a 12-year-old Dutch warm blood Quinton for Hyde Moffatt, who has been busy this week.
Yeah, I think Hyde's jumped in pretty much every 5-star class we've had. Gisborne VDL, the other ride that Hyde's had here as well. As you say, it's great for the crowds to have a Canadian rider to cheer on.
So the front rail coming down, he'll be working on 4 faults the rest of the way.
Horse has his own way of going, really. As you say, it's a 12-year-old, but not necessarily one that's the most experienced with Hyde. Jumping nicely around here, though.
Really nice.
Just taking quite a look into the water tray there, I think. That's a shame.
Yeah, the Liverpool is underneath that jump there.
I mean, actually, you know, we're talking about the fact that the team competition is going to be taking place under lights when the sun has set, but there are some quite long shadows in the arena now, and sometimes that can cause a little bit of an optical illusion, just distract the horses a little bit from the fences that they're looking at, and there are some quite long shadows just in front of that Show Plus upright with the water tray.
Long shadows being cast in different parts of the ring. You're really in and out of the sun. So up and over the final fence, Hyde Moffatt finishes nicely. 13 faults for him will be on the record. 77.3 was his time.
13 faults there for Hyde.
So Alberto Michan is still looking good. He's still the time to beat.
Makes that look like a pretty impressive round, actually.
It does.
60.79, very, very good time.
We are certainly halfway through this competition, and he is holding on to the lead at the moment. So next in is Mark Kinsella, an Irish rider who's 11 to go. On Durando, this is a gray 14-year-old mare, another Dutch warm blood as he eyes the course.
Quite a new ride for Mark in the international competitions. This is only this horse's second international show. The first was at Traverse City. Jumps with Mark in the 2-star competitions, but actually has a good few miles on the clock with Caitlin Campbell. Caitlin jumped this horse up to 3-star.
And we'll see Caitlin later tonight in the team competition, as I think that's the first time we've seen the top rail of fence 2 go. Always such a bummer when it happens early in the course.
Yeah, it's a long way around.
Yes,
when you've got an early
after.
fault. But Mark, as I think we were saying the other day, a great developer of young horses and a great rider to bring them on and bring them up through the levels. This is quite strong around those turns, actually.
Got
very close to the wing,
very
too.
close. And although it does look quite awkward on the screen, that turn to the psychedelic combination, the riders are taking a beautiful track to it. It's not an issue for them at all. Doesn't even look at the Liverpool there. And up and over the Palmies final fence, so it'll be just a 4-fault performance. An early rail, but that was the only one. 63.84 and a pretty nice time. He'll go right into the 4th position, Mark will, in this $73,000 speed class. So again, we're working our way toward the bottom half of the order. And Nikki Galligan is in now on Unique Star. This is kind of a unique story. You know, it does happen, but a very dear friend of his who rode this horse, she had a bit of a fall, broke her ankle, so he got the ride just a few days ago. He had done the one show previous to this. This is the second show he's been at with the stallion, and he was telling us, you know, the stallion definitely has a way of going, and he's really wanting to let the horse do its thing. He's trying to learn to ride it the way that the stallion wants to go, not his, you know, not the rider's way, the horse's way. So we'll see what track he takes in the speed class. Really talented horse.
Yeah, Nicky's a fast rider as well. I'm sure he'll be aiming to be really competitive here. Had a good performance in the 5-star opening welcome class as well. He was 3rd with this horse in that competition a few days ago. But I mean, as you say, the horse slightly fights.
It doesn't like to turn.
No.
Which is essential in show jumping.
Yeah, quite a useful skill. But it really does get very strong, and Nicky's doing very well to kind of, as you say, let the horse do his own thing a little bit, but manage to get the control back and keep the balance. You know, we often say it that so many horses have such talent, but just have their little quirks, and this seems to be one of those.
Nikki had a good go in the 2-star qualifier this afternoon on Hermione. There were 62 entries. He was one of the few clears. Okay, so we have a good time, 63.9. It will go right into 2nd place. Still a good 2+ seconds behind Alberto, but that's a really nice round that he certainly fought for on Unique Star.
I mean, you know, it's pretty amazing to have a clear round and a good time in this competition, considering they haven't been partnered together very long, and definitely a partnership that would be ones to watch out for in the future, I'm sure.
For sure. Darragh Kerins is eyeing this course, getting himself ready for this speed class on Valentino. This is a horse owned by Eve Jobs. She also rode this horse for a while, and Darragh has the ride right now, another from Diamante Simile. 13 years old this bay.
Darragh won a 2-star Grand Prix in Wellington with this horse in March this year. But he's round about 50% clear round rate with Darragh. Slightly different rate with Eve, but really I always think what's most important to look at actually is the combination clear round rate rather than just the horse or just the rider. Darragh, though, you know, a rider who's competed at World Cup finals, European Championships, got so many great competitions to his name. Really helped the horse out there in the double. Oh, big shot to the last as well.
Well, he's looking like the time to beat if it only took him 2.83 seconds to get around the course, which
rocket speed.
It did take him a little longer than that. We'll get the clock back together and let you know if he beat Alberto Michan. I think Darragh's wondering also.
I mean, it certainly looked very quick.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, we may have a time there, but best to just wait until that's confirmed with the judges. Would have been a very impressive time, though.
So they are confirming 57.75 is the confirmed time. So that will put him right in the lead, right to the top. Darragh Kerins on Valentino. So congrats to him on that fabulous run. We'll see if Kent Farrington, speedy as ever the last couple of days, will have something to say about that top time. He's on Austria 2, a veteran horse that he took over from Take the High Road LLC a few years back. And Kent was already a winner today. He won the 2-star qualifier.
It was really interesting to hear Kent talk after that win, actually, because he was saying that he's got a lot of really talented younger horses at the moment, and he's really proud of his younger string and feels that they're so full of potential for the future, and that's what he's really, really excited about. I mean, Austria 2 is such a fantastic partner for him.
Well, it's amazing, like you were saying, he's won 2 of the classes and finished second in the big class last night after a blazing fast jump off, and he calls this a developing year. You know, these are my young horses, either ones I'm just developing, you know, aiming for a couple years down the road, and he's still winning almost every class he's in. And he did say, you know, I am trying to win every class I'm in. I can't always, but I do try.
I mean, that's the sign of a real sportsman, though, isn't it? That he always wants to win.
I always think when you watch Kent ride, there are very few riders in the world after a jump that take off like he does. He's so smooth after he lands.
Yeah, there's no kind of waiting time as soon as he's landed.
There's no extra movement. He's so smooth to the next jump. He loses so little time by doing that. So, of course, right away, he beats the time, 57.18. Kent Farrington back to the top of the leaderboard.
Great day at the office for Kent. 2 wins already. 2 wins, and actually closes off his day at the office because he's not on the team list for Team Logano. Of course, he's one of the team managers, though, so I'm sure he'll be involved in what the team is doing later.
I was going to say he's not really taking the night off, but there are no more horses at the in-gate. It ends here. Kent Farrington has won yet another class.
Just incredible. I mean, he's having a fantastic show here, but what else would you expect from the former world #1?
That's right. Austria 2 is the winner of the speed class. So $21,000 to Kent Farrington and his team, 57.18 at the time. Darragh Kerins, once they figured out the clock, they figured out he was right at the top. He ends up second, this Irish rider does. 57.75 was his time. Alberto Michan led this class for most of the way on his longtime partner Bugatti. 60.79 is his time. Nikki Galligan on Unique Star, a new ride for him, a very impressive trip, 63.9 his time, and really well done by Vanessa Hood. Cascalretto was clear all the way around, and she had a terrific time of 64.06 to finish in the top 5.
Hey guys, I see we got a great crowd. Quite early, that's awesome to see. Guys, tonight,
so you can see here the fans. I guess you can see us as we're right behind Kean White. He's chatting with the fans. He's been so active. He and his wife Kelly, who run this show, they do everything, soup to nuts. They're telling the crowd how things go. They're explaining the rules. He's doing a course walk. He's explaining the course as they go along.
It's a fantastic atmosphere that they've created here at Angel Stone, and you know, it's such a party atmosphere with the different tents and the different atmospheres. You know, we can hear some live musicians in the VIP tent behind us. That just creates a fantastic environment, and certainly one, as you say, that Kean and his team have worked hard to develop.
So it'll be, maybe we say the best is yet to come, the team competition tonight. I'm so excited to see it. This arena will be packed. It is already almost full, and we will bring it all to you. Do you want to give the fans a little bit of a rundown on what we expect to see later?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 8 teams coming forward this evening, 8 of the Major League Show Jumping teams as normal. They all take part in a first round where 3 riders per team all compete, and they are judged on faults and time. and we identify the top 4. We've got a cut line after the top 4, so the top 4 teams will then have their scores scratched. They'll go forward on a clean sheet, and we'll have the first jump off with 2 riders per team. That will identify which 2 teams jump off for gold and which 2 teams jump off for bronze. And the second 2 rounds are run-like speed classes, so for every pole knocked down, they add 3 seconds to their time. So it's going to be very, very quick at the end of that competition. It goes extremely quickly. It's a really exciting format, and one that the crowd can really get behind as well. We absolutely cannot wait to take you through that competition.
Some of the best riders in the world are here. Daniel Blumen, who won last night on Gemma, blazing fast. He'll be riding tonight. Nick Della Gioia will be riding tonight.